For the last couple of years, I've really asked myself why people don't chase their childhood dreams. When I was younger, a lot of people wanted to be a firefighter, a policeman, or wanted to save the world. Instead, a lot of people grow up to be people who work office jobs, constantly complaining about their jobs and that they don't really like it that much. When I was 6 years old, my dad took me to the racetrack for the very first time. Although I wasn't really fast on that first day and I fell a couple of times, I was completely hooked to the sport from that point onwards. My dream is to race in the World Superbike Championship. And over the last few years, I've realized that it's more than just riding on the bike. I am in my third year of my studies now. I'm studying accountancy, and little me has never thought of becoming an accountant. Instead, he wanted to be a motorcycle racer. This season, I will be pursuing my childhood dream. And although it's a really big gamble, I believe that the possibility is worth chasing. Mijn naam is Sven Wind.
Nee, we doen het nu in het Engels.
In het Engels?
Ja.
Hello, my name is Sven Wind. I am currently 20 years old and I'm racing in the International Dutch Championship for Team Track Support Racing with a Yamaha R1. When I was 6 years old, my dad took me to the racetrack for the very first time. There, I was able to try out riding on a motorcycle for the first time along with my brother. Although I wasn't really fast on that first day and I fell a couple of times, I was completely hooked to the sport from that point onwards. Since then, in over 14 seasons, I've competed in both national and international championships, as well as European championships. I've just come back from Valencia in Spain. And what I did over there is we had a test with the team to ride the bike for the very first time. Transferring over from a 600cc Supersport into a 1000cc Superbike really demands a very different approach into riding it. You're letting the bike do its work more on the Superbike than on the Supersport. Because you have way more power, you have way more torque. Essentially, on the Supersport machine, you're constantly trying to push every last drop out of the bike. Whereas on the Superbike, most of the tracks are too short to use the full potential of the Superbike. On the straight, it'll keep delivering more power and more power. Whereas on the Supersport machine, you have to up your speed in the corners to get a good lap time. Having confidence with the bike is crucial because you're going really fast and you have to fully trust the bike mechanically, but also kind of become one with the bike because you have to lean in the corners to make it steer at all, to make the bike turn at all. And to build up that confidence, ideally, you want to be on the bike as many times as you can, as many times that it's possible. One of the biggest pitfalls in motorcycling is that riding time is really scarce. So you want to be on the bike as many times as possible, maybe even every day. However, it is really expensive, and during the winter, racetracks in the Netherlands aren't even open at all because it's too cold to ride at all. You won't have any grip. The solution for that is to go to a warmer country, for example Spain. And in Spain the temperatures are a little higher. It's more expensive to go there as well. So it requires a hefty investment. This winter I've made exactly that investment. So I've gone to Spain 2 times, one of which in December, to train on my smaller bike on local karting tracks and other race tracks that are a little different than GP tracks. Making the decision to go to Spain in the winter isn't just for track time. My life in the Netherlands is quite fast-paced and I'm balancing a lot of different things. Studies, work, working out. Going to Spain for 2 weeks gives me the opportunity to focus just on the racing itself, and it enables me to go into a different environment. It gives me more focus to prepare for the first test beforehand. I've done a lot of cycling and a lot of running in Spain, as well as just relaxing a little and preparing myself mentally to be fully focused and to get everything out of the limited track time that I have with the new bike. The path to a racing career is hard. There are no scouts alongside the track and chances come and go really quickly. This year I will be doing the Dutch Championship, and my goal for the end of this season is to secure a ride somewhere in an international championship. So the BSB Championship in England, the Euromoto Championship in Germany, or the Endurance World Championship. Making the step from a supersport to a superbike is crucial because over the years I've always had a disadvantage to the others because of my height. I am 192 centimeters tall, and along with that comes that I weigh more than other riders normally. My disadvantage will be less on the foreground on a superbike because the bike has more horsepower. What I like about racing is that it gives you a feeling that you can't replicate anywhere else, and it's not the feeling of speed, but it's more the entire adrenaline rush that you get when you mount the bike. You're putting on a full protective suit, gloves, a helmet, boots. Essentially none of your skin is exposed, so you're completely covered in protection, and you're gearing up for the worst scenario, and you want to be well protected. And when you mount the bike and you go out of the pit lane and you go on the track for the first time and you open the throttle, enables you to go into a different state of mind where your body reacts faster to things. The feeling of I am doing 280 kilometers an hour is different from when you're speeding a little on the highway. There is one extra variable in the mix when you compete in racing, and that is that everyone wants to go fast, and everyone wants to win. So where you might be friends in the paddock, next to the track, you're enemies to each other on track because you want to win regardless of anyone else. I think if my 10-year-old self saw me now, he would be kind of surprised why we aren't in a higher championship by now, or doing faster lap times or an international championship. But I think he definitely didn't realize the work that has to be put in for it to all work. It's not just riding the bike itself. But you have to be physically fit for it, and that includes a lot of running, a lot of cycling, and also strength training. My strength training is with my body weight. So I'm trying to connect my muscles together and not doing exercises that only contribute to one muscle, but to a lot of different ones in one go. Because on the bike it's the same thing. When you're trying to push the bike from the right side to the left side as fast as possible, it requires a lot of strength, and not only in your arms, but mainly in your legs as well. So doing these exercises enables me to combine all of these muscles, and for me, I found the solution in doing calisthenics, which are also really focused on building a strong core. I've just come back from Valencia in Spain, and what I did over there is we had a test with the team. Coming back from the first session surprised me a lot. I didn't realize that the bike would be so much different than the bike that I had last year. And I was also surprised by other people that they were able to control the bike way more than I was able to, which is quite natural because it is, after all, my first session on the bike.
Het wint best snel.
Hij loopt langzaam zeker?
Nee, dat niet.
But during the first day, I already realized that I was progressing really quickly. I was feeling more and more confident on the bike, and to twist open the throttle, I was able to understand which reactions the bike would give me if I did a certain thing, for example, twist open the throttle or lean the bike in a certain way. And that made it a little easier to give feedback to the team as well. So at the start of the day, everything was really overwhelming. But towards the end of the day, I was able to give feedback with more structure. I ended the first day on a high note. I was really confident and I was really excited for the coming 2 days. The first session of the second day, I was easily able to replicate the feeling from the day before. So with a lot of confidence, and I was able to expect from the bike that I should expect. There weren't any strange things, except for the end of the session, which happened on the straight. Suddenly, there was a lot of smoke coming out of the motorcycle. I saw my dad waving his hand up and down to warn me, and I didn't know at the time if that was for someone ahead of me that had maybe crashed and the yellow flag wasn't shown, or that it was me. So it was only when I started braking that I realized that the rear wheel was really slippery and was sliding in an abnormal way, that I finally was able to tell like what exactly, not exactly, but what was the problem. I was the problem, or the bike was the problem. So I directly put the bike to the side, and then I saw a lot of smoke coming out of the motorcycle. So I quickly pressed the kill switch, and the marshals came running to me with the fire extinguisher just in case, and they told me to get off the bike, and they handled it really well. But it left a really big oil track on the straight and into the first corner, which they had to clean, and essentially that just limits your riding time because you lose a session. When you are riding a new bike, it all revolves around building up confidence and getting to know the bike. And when such a thing happens, it kind of shrinks your confidence because it's a thing that you are not expecting. And when a thing happens that you're not expecting, you're kind of shocked a little. So that moment made my confidence shrink a little in the bike because it was a problem that we did not know yet. It's a good thing that it happened at that time because that's what a test is for. But I had to get around it a little and build up my confidence again, and to not worry about whether the problem was going to happen again. During the rest of the sessions of the day, I was able to regain the confidence more quickly than I was expecting at first. I was able to drop some seconds off my lap time. So at the end of the day, I was quite pleased with how the day turned out, even after losing a little riding time. And the third day gave me a completely fresh start, and although it was still really cold in the morning, I somehow shaved off 1.5 seconds of my personal best lap time in Valencia. And I was really eager to try out a little different things with the setup and to hopefully ride even faster. However, some of the setups didn't really work out that well. And by the time I was able to find the right setup again, the day was already over. And my best time of the day was set in the second lap time because the last session was cut short due to a red flag. Just before I was able to set my fastest lap time again, the session was cut short due to a red flag, but I was luckily able to replicate the same feeling that I had in the first session of the day. And holding on to that, I'm really curious about how the first race will go. And the first race will be on the 4th of April. And that is when I can test the bike for the first time in competition.